Happy Wednesday. It's good to see you again this week. Last time we talked about the simplicity of church planting, and we went over vision, team, and gathering. If you haven't seen those, take a few minutes after you watch this, or you can even pause and watch that video. But today we're going to go on from vision, team, and gathering to proclamation and multiplication. Also, the element of the proclamation of the gospel that goes on in any kind of a church planting setting. And that may be simply across a room that you're proclaiming the gospel, or across the hallway as you're inviting people into your fellowship. But it is the announcement that Jesus Christ has come. It's the announcement that the good news of Jesus Christ, that God sent Christ into the world, reconciling the world to himself through his shed blood on the cross, through his resurrection, through his ascension into heaven, through his promised return. This gospel that we proclaim is the thing that energizes this and makes it something different than a club or a book society or just a circle around a campfire. It becomes a church as the gospel is proclaimed within and without the group. This proclamation in larger launch settings involves going public, telling people that you exist, letting people know that they can come to your gathering, that your gatherings are really open to the public. I'm really surprised that most churches assume that people know that their church is open to the public, and that assumption in our society today is a false assumption. They don't know that they could come to your church unless you proclaim that you are open to them and that they could come. As they come, you're also proclaiming the gospel. But this proclamation element, this inviting, this going public element is also true in models that are much smaller. You have to invite someone, announce that you're having a meeting, announce that you're having a gathering from across the hall or across the city. And then finally, the fifth element of church planting is to multiply all of these simple elements. And so I've drawn a circle with vision, team, gathering, and proclamation in a multiplying continuum. The church wants to multiply. The Bible talks about the churches when they were experiencing the peace of God and the power of the Holy Spirit. In Acts chapter 9, it says that the churches were multiplied, that they began to plant other churches. They began to hive off other groups of people. They began to extend their gathering not only from this local place, but also to the ends of the earth. And so multiplication should be in our DNA when we have a vision to start a new church. It should be a vision to start churches that start churches that start churches. Every new church, if it starts out and is born pregnant, will begin to produce new baby churches throughout its lifetime. And so these five elements are true in any kind of church planting setting. There's a vision inspired by God. There's a team that begins to provide leadership for this work. And this team is essential for any kind of multiplication of groups, whether they be missional communities or Bible studies or house churches or congregations or even megachurches. And then gathering, not just gathering the people of God, but gathering the people who are on their way to becoming the people of God. And then proclamation, proclaiming the gospel and going public, and then multiplying it all over and over and over again. As you begin to think and meditate on these simple elements, ask yourself some questions. How is our church like this? How is it driven by vision, team, gathering, and proclamation? You can apply it to your own existing church. You can apply it to a new church plan that you're beginning to work on. You can apply it to your prayers as you dream of churches that multiply over and over and over again. Thanks for listening.